Welcome to Breaking Fears.
Hey YouTube world, welcome to another video. Happy Tuesday. So today I wanted to kind of talk about a topic that's been on my mind a little bit. And that topic is about and it's old news, but it's kind of, to be honest with you, it's irritating to me because how people focus on the bad of things and they never focus on the good of things. So yes, I am going to be focusing on the bad, not publicity, but the bad, how can you say it? I'm going to discuss or talk about the topic about how people talk or show the bad things about something. And that is about the 6 young ladies who died in the Gambia. And a lot of people are sitting up here saying, oh, Africa's bad. Oh, don't go to Africa. Oh, you got to watch yourself for Africa. 6 people out of how many have died here in the U.S.? 6 people out of how many died in Russia? 6 people compared to how many died in this Ukrainian war. 6 people compared to how many have died in this Israel-Gaza war. 6 people that compared to how many people may have died in Mexico. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Different countries, different regions. But these 6 people, because they died relatively close to each other in a short amount of time. Why did it happen? You have bad people out there. And you have bad, doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, brown, yellow, whatever color you want to put on people. It doesn't matter. Just label it as good and bad. You've got good people who care about each other, who want to help each other. You got bad people who try to take advantage of people and try to get what they want and hurt and harm, tease, whatever you want to call it, to the good people. Those are the people you want to stay away from. Why am I bringing this up? Is because a lot of people, before the 6 that died, the 6 ladies that died in Gambia, when I went to do my heritage journey to Ghana in Africa, a lot of people were, Africa, again, it's because how things are portrayed by the evil people. Oh, Africa, people are living in bush. Oh, you got all those dangerous animals. Oh, you got this, you got that. If you've never been, how can you talk about something? If you don't know people, how can you talk about that the people are bad? I mean, perfect example, when the Ukrainian war started, the US jumped in, the UK jumped in, all these companies jumped in and said, hey, bring the Ukrainian refugees here. And let me just show you what some of the Ukrainians said about living around black people in the UK.
But those cultural differences weren't often talked about when Andrea signed up to the Homes for Ukraine scheme. She lives in a diverse part of Birmingham. After a week of staying there, her guest told her there were too many Muslims in the area.
We were quite shocked at how difficult she found different cultures.
She felt there were just too many Muslims.
Too many Muslims, too many people with different...
So the lady in the hat, I don't know if she's a landlord or just, I think she's just somebody who welcomed the Ukrainian refugees in her home and how they reacted around people of different religion as well as skin tone, basically Africans.
Different skin colors.
Her guest's son was enrolled into the local school, where the majority of children happened to be black and Asian.
And then
Black and Asian, black and Asian, black and Asian.
to just have her complain about the demographic of the school and going, well, he can't be safe there. There's not enough white kids, essentially. The majority of my neighbours are Muslims. A lot of them are Kashmiris or Pakistanis, Indians, and they're wonderful people. And you just felt if you just would sort of give them the time, perhaps we'd come to the same conclusion.
They both
See, so I just want to point that out there that we judge people, we judge areas that we don't know about. And basically, what it is a fear of not knowing. In order to get that fear out of your head, get educated. So the things that are happening in Africa, don't sit up here and, how can I put it? Not how can I put it, but don't sit up here and fear Africa because what you don't know. Do your research, people. And just do not do research on social media on people who are just taking pictures of areas that I mean, they don't get out of their car, they don't do nothing, they're just taking pictures. Learn with those that are actually traveling throughout the lands. And nowadays, you've got like Hudamaya. Yeah, he's African, but trust me, he gets mistreated too in certain countries of Africa. Learn about these things. Just don't, I mean, all because the 6 young ladies died. Again, they're not being targeted because they're diaspora. It's the evil people that targeted them because they thought they could get over and get something quickly. It's stupid robberies. It's stupid people that hate you, just like it happens in anywhere else in the world. So, do your research, people. Stop hating. Some people might even be saying, "Rico, why are you talking about this?" Yeah, this was about breaking a fear. Yes, it is. It's about breaking that fear of what other people are saying about countries, about people. Stop it. If you don't know, go find out about it. Do research on it. All because the 6 women died in the Gambia doesn't mean that the Gambia is horrible. All because the 6 women that died in the Gambia does not mean all of Africa countries are bad. Getting to that point, all of Africa's countries. I pray and hope that Africa as a whole, all of Africa's countries, someday, with all the diaspora, would unite. Stop having the fear amongst each other. Africans that are in Africa, stop having fears about the Western Africans, meaning the Africans from here in the United States. Stop having a fear of the Africans that are in Europe. Stop that. There's no fear to have about it. A lot of us here in the United States and England, wherever it may be, were raised to have a certain, how can I say it, chip on our shoulder. I'll put it that way. And what that means is being prideful. We were raised that way, especially being an African that was enslaved. Our ancestors here in the United States that were enslaved, same with England, Portugal, wherever you may be, we had to work hard, really hard. So a lot of them are proudful for what they've got, proudful for the things that they've accomplished. So when they leave from here to come back home, don't look at them as if, how can I say it? Don't hate or be afraid of African Americans that come over there acting pompous, and pompous means acting like they're all rich and their nose up in the air, all. It's the way we were raised. We weren't raised the way that we should have been if we would have still been in Africa. And don't get me wrong, because I know some Africans that are rich, just like everywhere else. There are Africans out there that have money that act pompous, with their nose stuck up in the air. Oh, I'm rich. I've got more money than you. I don't care where you're from with all this money. You don't have the true love. You don't have the true heart. So I'm not going to envy you. I'm not going to sit up here and wish I was you. I'm going to pray for you. That's what I would do. Same thing with, again, the African Americans that are coming from here, the African British that are coming to Africa. Do that for them. Help them out. Help them understand what they lost. Family, the love, the peace that they lost when their ancestors became enslaved and brought over to different countries. Why am I saying all that? And I'll get back to the African countries as a whole. Because of the 6 young ladies, belief is that they hooked up with people, again, bad people, and those bad people thought that it was an easy target. And of course, there were women, thought that these women would be an easy target to steal their money. And for all of you crooks and criminals and evil people that are listening to this, how stupid can you be? I sit here in the States and I see people robbing and stealing. And it's not just blacks, it's whites, Mexicans, whoever. It's everybody does this, no matter where you go. I see people doing this. And it's sad because I'll use this example. They'll go rob a bank. They might get, if that, $100,000. That's if they can get that. And they'll spend it within a week. Because if you come from nothing, you're going to end up with nothing. Meaning, if you don't have an education on how to make money, save it, and make a decent living, you are definitely not going to know how to deal with money. If you're ignorant, you just don't understand how money works, and you think that $1 is going to buy you a mansion. No, it doesn't work that way. Learn how to be financially independent so you can set yourself up for what you need to do. For those 6 women, the people who killed them, shame on you. The Most High will deal with you. And I would be afraid if I was you, because you're in for something that you should have thought about before you killed those young ladies. And now you just affected everybody that could have benefited from those young ladies. And again, people, Africa is not a dangerous place. No way, no how. It's just like every other country. It's got its good and it's got its bad. It's got its good people, it's got its bad people. People run to Mexico, but they don't talk about the drug cartel out there. There was a young lady, African Americans, that went to Mexico for, I think she was doing some type of surgery, and they were killed. But everybody wants to sit up here and say, "Oh, the 6 people in the Gambia." Only reason why a lot of people focus on the 6 young ladies in Gambia is because of the hatred, for some odd reason, for hatred and fear. I want to say the fear of Africans, diaspora, going back to Africa. That's the only reason why it's being publicized big time. They do not want, some people just do not want Africans to unite. Getting to that topic, African countries as a whole. The reason why I say I pray that African countries would unite and become the African countries of Africa. I wish that would happen. That sounds good, doesn't it? African, or let's just put it this way: United Countries of Africa. United Countries of Africa. That would be beautiful. All the countries under one flag. All the countries, if you look at America, America wasn't one for a long time. United States of America. Yes, I did get United Countries of Africa from that. Yes, I stole that. But anyway, you look at America, and each state, that's why it's the United States of America, each state still has its own flag. Each country in Africa could still have their own flag, but you'll be under one big flag showing that you're united. So I don't want to hear, "Oh, we'll lose our identity." No, you won't. You can still have it. "Oh, but then everybody will rule us." No. Look at the United States again. And I'm just poking out again, I can talk about this because I'm from the United States. So that's why I can compare this. The United States, each state has its own laws. You have federal law, and then you have state laws. Africa can still have its country laws. Federal laws just restrict the bad things that can happen and also helps unite the countries a little bit more. Federal law doesn't have to be in public or city politics or rulings, but for the major laws that everybody has agreed to, those can be upheld by the federal courts, just like the United States. It can happen. The blueprint has been written here in the United States. Oh, Rico, you're talking about the United States. Russia, China, Japan, none of them were all united. Look at your history books, people. And so I'm to the Africans here. Get your countries to realize that you need to be united. Africa, you need to be United Countries of Africa. Once that happens, you will see Africa thrive. You're going to get a lot of people fighting that because there's a lot of fear of that happening. But you got to do it. We have to do it. Another thing, like I said, don't fear people from the Africans from the West, Africans from the East, Africans from the South, North, wherever we're from. Again, the diaspora. Don't fear us coming back and think that we're thinking you're beneath us. Most of us are coming back because we want to embrace you. Honestly, we're not coming back there to treat other Africans like we were treated in slavery. We're coming back home. We're coming back to peace. And a lot of us are coming back. You might think, oh, they're coming back because of, they're trying to rip us off or something. No, we're coming back to make a home and build. So the last thing that I want to say about all this and all these topics for today is that none of this about the 6 Gambian women, as far as I've seen, I've even looked it all up on YouTube, I've looked it up on a TV. I haven't seen it or heard of it in the U.S. news. I could be wrong, but that goes to show you it's not that, the U.S. doesn't care about it, as far as I could see. And what's being put out there, and because I watch YouTube a lot, it's on YouTube. And the sad thing is African diaspora pointing it out. Stop it. Stop doing it. I'm glad that you're letting people know that this happens, but we're not being targeted. The diaspora is not being preyed on. It's the naive people. It's the people that put trust in other people. And as we all know, and as it says in the Bible, do not trust no one. Do not trust no one. You can't just go out there, men or women, solo or together, cannot go to any country, and pretend that you are not going to be hurt. And this is one key point that I have to put out there, and then I'm done with this. All because you're from America does not mean America is going to step up for you. That does not mean that America is going to bend over backwards to free you if something happens in another country. Only time that will happen, as you can see with the trade with Russia, with the basketball player, some other individuals, was because they wanted something out of it. If you're anywhere else, Mexico, in an African country, Middle East country, that means nothing to them, that means nothing to America, you're stuck. So don't go to these countries, any country. It could be the so-called safest country in the world. And I've seen incidences where a young movie star went to a European country, targeted because she's African American, placed in jail, and had to sit in jail for a while. Maybe I'll show that clip. I have to look for it. And it was supposed to be a safe place. She reached out to the embassy. It took a long time for her to be able to get free. But my point is, 6 young ladies died. It's horrible because evil saw an opportunity to get a couple of $100 off of them. 6 people died because evil hated what they were doing. That's the only reason why that happened. It's not because the Gambia or any other African country is targeting the diaspora. Get that out of your head. And stop sitting up here trying to make Africa look bad. Because you know it happens in all other countries. I don't see you showing that. Why aren't you showing that on YouTube? So for those that want to go to Africa and move there, do your research. Don't go over there as if it's the candy land and you're just going to be all happy and everything's going to come to you. You got to work. You're going to have to work hard. It's not, nowhere is a land of free opportunity. There's no utopia on this earth. You want utopia? Pray to God and pray that you get into heaven. That'll be your utopia. So with that being said, thank you for watching. Give me some comments. Subscribe. Either thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you choose to do. Thank you for watching. Until our next video, see ya.